Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Pooba, Senator Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some scotch, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 17th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke Cigar Aficionado's 2021 Cigar of the Year tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. Senator will tell us about Balvenie, we'll discuss tequila, and we'll answer a listener's Instagram message about non-alcoholic pairings, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair 12-year-age Balvenie Doublewood Scotch with the Padrón 1964 Anniversary Torpedo in Natural. All right, boys, we are back to Padrón, one of our favorite cigar brands in the world. And tonight we are doing the 2021 Cigar of the Year, according to Cigar Aficionado, the Padrón 1964 Anniversary Series in Torpedo Natural. So we've done, we did the Exclusivo Maduro. We've obviously talked about a lot of Padrón on the podcast over the last 20 or so episodes that we've done. And we decided to do this one, obviously, because it's number one cigar of the year, a natural. Who has had this cigar?
I've had it.
I know you and I have. I don't know if anybody else has it.
Not a natural.
Not a natural.
I've only
Maduro.
had the Maduro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 6-inch by 52 ring gauge cigar, box press torpedo, and obviously with Padrón perfect construction. I'm curious what this thing tastes like.
I've just got to say the anticipation is killing me because this will only be the second natural Padrón I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Same
Well,
here.
The first one Gizmo gave me that
Corona.
thin- yeah.
The Corona.
This
Yeah.
will be the second.
Same here. Yeah.
It'll be my first, yeah.
I've got to say something. I mean, the tip is razor sharp.
It's incredible.
It's
how
so
they make these
beautifully
things.
made. I mean, look at this thing. I can impale someone with this.
Yeah, it's a weapon.
Look at it.
You're good at that.
Don't get stuck in a room alone with me. Okay?
I carry it with me all the time.
All right, let's cut this thing. See, we're getting on a cold draw. Very excited about this.
Wide open draw.
Yeah.
As usual. It's sweet. It doesn't taste like an Exclusivo on the cold draw at all.
Wow, it's very different than a
Pooba,
Maduro.
very good point. It's very sweet,
Yeah.
unlike the Exclusivo.
Yeah, the Exclusivo I feel like is more of a dark chocolate, and this is more of like a milk chocolate.
This, yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool.
I don't know why I'm tasting grape, but
Yeah, very different than the Exclusiva that we're
A little
used
dried
to.
fruit. Dried fruit. Yeah.
maybe.
All right, let's light this thing. The Padrón 1964 Anniversary Series Torpedo in Natural. Again, Cigar Aficionado's Cigar of the Year for 2021, which, as Bam noted before we came on air, is the fourth time that Padrón has been named the number one cigar of the year. And they were actually the first.
The very first number one rated cigar in CA.
Yeah, and that was in 2004, which is pretty cool. So we'll see how this thing does.
What's the box date?
1964.
So I love this cigar Maduro. I think a lot of us do. I know Senator has those as well. So I'm very interested to see what it's like in natural. A lot of people like these in natural. Jorge Padrón himself, his favorite cigar is a natural cigar that they make. And Grinder said he loves these too. So
Am I crazy by calling this a bit of a flavor bomb right off the bat?
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's different than the other Padrones.
Yeah, they sell a lot of these cigars, man. They sell a lot of them.
I think like Senator said, it's like milk chocolate, right?
It's ridiculous.
It's definitely not like earthy like I'm used to
No,
with the Padrón
not at
in the
all.
Maduro.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flavor, but it's definitely lighter in flavor than the Maduro.
Yeah,
Very pleasant.
very.
So with all Padrones, this is a Nicaraguan Puro. According to them, there's always rumors that the wrapper's Mexican, but wrapper, binder, and filler are Nicaraguan.
Mm.
And these come in 20 count boxes, right, Senator? Not 25s? I think they're 20s.
I think so.
Yeah, because some of the other cigars come in 25s, but these come in 20s. So what kind of notes are you getting? I'm definitely getting like a nuttiness,
I give it a 10.
a little chocolatey, a little nutty.
The white chocolate's accurate,
Yeah.
but I have to say there is a little dry fruit and a bit of a floral twang I'm getting. It's weird.
Yeah, it's
Loving
really
it.
nice though.
Yeah.
The nuttiness is definitely there, and interestingly, a saltiness, almost like you would get out of some Cubans.
Yeah, it's the milder flavor profile of this is leaning that it leans more towards what you're talking about. I remember specifically where I smoked this and when I smoked it. When Gizmo was so kind to gift me one of these, I smoked it on my deck, and it was over the summer. I smoked it alone. And it was I just remember being like, wow, this was really a really, really good cigar. Summer day, just, I think I drank tequila. I was drinking like Don Julio Añejo.
Nice.
And maybe that's something we talk about. Maybe we do
We haven't done a tequila, yet.
Maybe
Yeah.
we do a tequila.
We need to.
I was thinking we've only done one rum too. I think we need to.
Yeah, and just yesterday was National Tequila Day or National Margarita.
Margarita.
Oh, okay.
I found myself in an episode of
In
Narcos.
the shower?
An episode of Narcos.
Yeah, in some insane local Mexican restaurant, which was just complete lunacy.
Did you send a
drums.
picture that there was a wedding happening?
Oh yeah, there was like weddings. There was a wedding. There were drums going. There's a full on mariachi, live mariachi bands.
But that's a normal day there.
I mean,
That's
that,
how it
was a
is.
Tuesday. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
That is no right. Rooster's not wrong. It's a normal day there at this particular establishment. And I was thinking, it's so funny. The mariachi band is so professional. I mean, they're mariachi people. First of all, there's dancing, there's singing, there's multiple entertainment people everywhere. But the mariachi band in particular, I go, dude, it'd be so funny if we just stalked people with this mariachi band, where basically it was like if Senator was like walking out from Starbucks getting his coffee, and like we just rented this mariachi band for like a week. And this, like, everywhere he goes, it's like, and just like everywhere he goes, you just, this mariachi band just shows up. Like he's out at like a nice restaurant, and then all of a sudden you just send them in, and the mariachi band just starts playing. I just think it would be fucking
I
hilarious.
think we should do
to
it.
Fucking stalk people.
I think
with
I
the
just
mariachi
figured out.
band.
I think I just figured out Pooba's birthday gift.
Yes, that's right.
Wherever I go,
I saw Jackass last night. It's kind of like a skit from Jackass.
Oh, yeah.
Just
yeah.
stupid shit. It's so good.
But I had tequila with this cigar. I just remember it because it was a memorable smoke. And it paired really well. So maybe that's something we look at. Maybe we do Don Julio Añejo.
Yeah, I mean
That's a
that's a,
good idea.
favorite of both of us. I brought that over Gizmo's place the other time.
Yep.
Bam and I got into some of
Dude.
it.
Yeah.
I took that glass down.
It pairs really
So
well
good.
with
It
the
is.
Nicaraguan cigar, or any cigar,
Yeah.
really.
But ironically, you bring up a good point because I actually think it would pair much better with this natural Padrón than it actually would a Maduro, because tequila it's light, right?
Yeah.
It's not super heavy like a Scotch, a single malt.
Doesn't carry smoke. It
Right.
doesn't. Right. It's like it's.
So this wouldn't overpower it. It'd be a nice compliment.
I
think
find
you're
that Don
exactly right.
Julio is a bit sweet too,
Oh yeah,
which
Oh,
would go
sure.
beautifully
Oh, yeah.
with this particular stick.
Sure.
that
but-
agave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's agave. And what I like about Don Julio, and we'll get back. I'm sorry. We'll get back to the cigar, but what I like about Don Julio is that there's really not that kind of added sugar that you find in a lot of these. So like Classa, Classa, and Classa is really good. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not really good,
It's candy.
but it's almost too sweet for me. I feel like there's like too much sugar in that tequila. Where Don Julio 1942 or the Añejo, which I think is a much better value, which is a different conversation we don't have to get into. I think we've even talked about it before, but There's some really nice tequilas out there that aren't these new tequilas with so much added sugar that are really solid spirits and there's so many of them to explore. And maybe that's something we start to talk about.
I think we should, because we're always talking about what scotches to get. So I think that's a great idea.
I've also got to say the tequila market is exploding. It was so funny. I was in a liquor store today, and you guys know where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They have a glass case for higher end spirits. And when you used to go in there and look at that case, it was 90% single malt scotch, right? Like 20, 25, 30-year age scotches. And I couldn't believe today when I walked in, I hadn't been in there in maybe 3-4 months. Probably 40% of it was tequila. I couldn't believe it. They also had, I've never seen. So obviously the Clase Azul bottle that, you're talking about, Puba, I've never seen. They have a handle size of it there now in the glass case. It's like 300. It looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And Clase is great. I certainly won't refuse it. I had some last night. But to me, for whatever reason, I prefer my tequila a little bit less sweet than the Clase. But again, it's very interesting with tequila and how approachable it's become from when, let's say, in 1994, when I was in college, 1992, 3, 4, 5, where those tequila really wasn't around. All these tequilas, and there was this huge boom. Now it's very approachable spirit that all kinds of people drink, whether it's mixed in a margarita or just up on the rocks. And but what they're bringing to the market, they've added so much sugar to some of these that I think that people have been. You got to get back to what some of this really good Herradura is really good. Herradura with the horseshoe. Oh, yeah. Herradura is like really, really good. So we should talk about that. Maybe bring in a couple.
I know nothing about tequila, so for me, it would be super, super educational for me. I know nothing about tequila. It's not a damn thing. So I'm
summer
looking forward
approaches.
to it.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As we get a little warmer, I think that'd be a great spirit to dive into a little bit. So I got to tell you, I'm loving this cigar. It's different than I expected. Remember even when we last had it. It's been a while since I've had it. Obviously, not under the microscope like this. I think I also smoked it outside. I bought a couple singles, but I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just envisioning where this would slot in for me, and this is a great afternoon smoke.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
After lunch in the afternoon.
Perfect.
Would be great.
That's perfect. Yeah.
It has like I hesitate to say this. I really hesitate to say this, but it has like a little Cuban thing to it.
Yeah, I was thinking that earlier.
It has like I don't want to say Cuban twang, but it has something about it that's really reminding me of a great Cuban cigar.
Yeah, it's mellower.
It is Cuban seed.
Yep, that's
made
true.
in Nicaragua, grown in Nicaragua. But maybe the Maduro wrapper just, on the other cigars kind of overwhelms that. I don't know, but this is
mellow.
Pretty wild, yeah.
But I think to Gizmo's point, this is one of the first and maybe only New World cigars that I genuinely get Cuban-esque notes from. Like I can see it. I can taste it. Where there are so many cigars, I feel like we've reviewed some New World cigars and Gizmo's giving the rundown, and it says it's somehow meant to be similar to a Cuban cigar, and I think we light it up and say this is nothing like a Cuban. This has some qualities. It's like this nice hybrid of New World and Old World that I really like.
Typically we kind of stay away from naturals in the Padrón line.
Yeah.
But once in a while, I've kind of made a mistake of buying a box, like just kind of overlooking wanted to get the Maduro box, but I got a natural by mistake. And they smoke gret.
They don't disappoint.
Yeah.
They do. And yes. So I've smoked many 1926 in natural, and that's a stronger smoke, but in natural it's different than the Maduro.
Did you like it? Because actually, so now I'm glad you said that. I'm incorrect. This is my third natural Padrón, because the second I had, I bought a 1926 number 6 in natural, and There was this harshness I got in the back of my throat from it. Now, I don't love the 1926 line generally, just
Right.
the 80th and the higher end stuff they make
Yeah.
is absolutely outstanding. But for the regular production 1926, I'm not a huge fan. But this is just so smooth and
Yeah.
creamy and nutty and everything you'd want in a cigar.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
me,
it's
to
very
me,
good.
answering the question of where I would slot this in my rotation, this to me is if I'm like craving a Partagas P2 ish cigar, and I want to smoke outside, this would slot in perfectly.
I think
there.
that's fair.
Not even just in its
Yeah,
size
it's very
and shape,
fair.
but it would kind of sit there in the rotation. I'm not comparing it to a P2,
No.
but it would sit in there in my rotation.
I like you said that because I've mentioned on many episodes where you're in that spot where you go into a retailer and or a lounge and you're trying to have a cigar, at some random time, and some are really strict and they will not allow you to smoke anything that you didn't purchase there. So you may be craving a Cuban, just like Gizmo said, and if you're looking for something that's going to give you some of that flavor profile, I would absolutely
Yeah.
pick this up in a retailer, sit there and smoke it. If I'm
Fantastic
craving
point. Great
something like a
candidate for that.
P2.
Yeah, great candidate for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It is different from, which is so interesting because you're saying to yourself, well, what's the difference between the 1964 Exclusivo and Natural and then this cigar? I don't, how could it be divergent from that in any kind of meaningful way? But in my experience with both shapes, this is better.
What I've heard though is that they do change the blend based on the vitola in the line. So even though it's the same
They have
tobacco,
to.
there is a difference in blend. So that's why in the Exclusivo, I've had an Exclusivo natural. I don't like it as much as I do the Maduro. This is 1 and 1A as far as ranking this with the Torpedo version of this. That I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I smoke a lot of those torpedoes. I smoke a lot of them.
They're great. They're sweeter.
Yeah.
I'd be curious what the ranking is on this guy.
Yeah, we'll
At
see.
the end of the night. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. It's so different than a Maduro, but in a good way.
I'm finding it a little mild.
Yeah. Well, for your palate, I'm not
Yeah.
surprised to hear you say that.
Yeah, but obviously great combustion, meaning it's so easy to smoke.
Have you had this one in Maduro, Pagoda?
Yes. But I don't, I typically smoke exclusivos.
Yeah.
So I just don't quite remember what the overall, in terms of comparison, I won't be able to do that. But what I'm finding is a little bit of sweetness, but it's very mild for me, for my palate.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I'm with Pagoda in that, and that's why I'm saying, as I'm thinking about where to slot this in, like, this really is an afternoon stick for me. Like, I will not reach for this after dinner. I just won't. That's where I'm picking up an Exclusivo Maduro, or really any Padrón Maduro is going to do it for me.
Yeah,
at that time.
agreed.
For the evening, yeah.
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah, Rooster made a good point, though. After lunch, midday smoke is perfect for this guy.
Yeah.
yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
Look at the amount of smoke that's coming out of the other end.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
From the head of the cigar, there's a lot of smoke. So it tells you like how open the draw is.
Yeah.
The flavors are unbelievable.
So we don't need to do a deep dive on Padrón or the 1964 anniversary line. We did that in episode 3. So if you're a listener who's turning into us for the first time or hasn't heard that episode number 3 when we did the Exclusivo Maduro, we did a pretty deep dive on Padrón. So I'll just do a very quick couple sentences. Padrón was obviously founded in 1964. This is from the 1964 anniversary series, released in 1994 originally, starting with the Exclusivo. And then as that gained popularity, being an aged cigar out of Nicaragua, brilliantly constructed, very consistent. People fell in love with it. And as time went on, they added more and more vitolas. And that's where vitolas like this Torpedo came in. So, this is a very, very popular line in the Padrón, catalog, the 1964. And as Senator mentioned on that episode, they actually have 32 variations of cigars in this line. So 16 vitolas in both Maduro and Natural. So there's a lot to explore and find what works for you, the listener, in the Padrón line. There's a lot there.
Yeah,
a lot there.
and because the natural and the Maduro have really distinct flavor profiles,
Yeah.
it makes it such an interesting line of cigars, really.
Because
And
there really are 32 different,
yeah,
And they
yeah.
smoke
choices.
differently.
They
That's the
do.
craziest part.
They
I
do.
mean, I remember Giz and I splitting a box of this exact torpedo, but in Maduro.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just sitting there amazed by how different the experience was from an Exclusivo in Maduro. It's
Yeah.
the same line. You would expect it to taste the same, but the torpedo had it was a lot sweeter,
it has more sweetness to it.
where the Exclusivo was a lot earthier.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I want to smoke every one of them. Honestly, like this now gives me faith that the natural versions of all of them I really need to try.
It actually opens up a whole new avenue, right?
It does.
Yeah.
I'll trade
Where-
you some of the 80th.
No.
That may be the only one. Actually, I've
Don't
smoked the
knock it.
natural 80th.
Yeah,
I've
you
smoked the
have.
natural 80th.
I've
and
never
I did
had
not,
that.
it is, to me, it's nowhere near as stellar as the 80th in Maduro.
Maybe after lunch.
You know what? This actually makes me. I talk about my father-in-law from time to time because I do smoke a lot of cigars with him when I'm not with you guys, and he loves a mild cigar, like a Cuban for him. He loves a La Fordicano Elegidos. That's like his favorite kind of, mild Cuban cigar, and I think he would really enjoy this.
I want to piggyback on top of that because I know a lot of guys that go for natural cigars because they're afraid of going for something that's fuller flavored. For the listener out there, if they're looking for a luxury brand in this particular hobby that we have, this is a fantastic option for that guy to upgrade their smoking.
And I think
No
Padrón, I think Padrón, and maybe I'm guilty of this too. I think they have a reputation of being a strong,
They
bold
do.
cigar.
They absolutely do.
And this cigar is the exact opposite of that.
Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't think this is strong.
No.
There's nicotine here.
Okay, you're talking nicotine. Okay.
There's definitely nicotine in this cigar. Now it's fine for me, but I think for a less experienced smokers, even smoking this does deliver that Nicaraguan mule kick
Okay.
to somebody who's doesn't smoke as many cigars as we do.
That's probably
This is
very
not.
fair.
This isn't like.
And I'll tell you why.
There is some nicotine kick to this thing, but the flavor is not unapproachable, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I guess
for Nicaraguan.
I wasn't. Forgive me if I wasn't clear. I wasn't necessarily speaking on the nicotine factor.
No.
More so just the flavor
Yeah,
being
of
approachable
course.
for someone who likes a mild
Yeah.
cigar.
Right.
I think this is for him. I think after a steak dinner, where I would go for an Exclusivo Maduro, or I'd go for this a Maduro, I'd go for an 80th or
It'd be
something.
perfect for him.
This would be perfect for him after dinner.
And it'd be perfect for a lot of guys that I know
Yeah.
that have actually sat in front of me and said, I don't want a Padrón. And I would ask them why. And then they would say exactly what you said. They assume it's a very powerful cigar, will overwhelm them, and they'll avoid it. This is a great candidate to really slip in there for
And
them.
I think it's a bit of a misconception that Maduros are stronger.
This is very true.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah. We've talked about this.
Maduro wrappers tend to be sweeter, not necessarily
That's
strength-wise.
very true.
Correct.
It's the blend of the cigar that makes a cigar, gives it strength, not the wrapper.
That's correct.
I don't think the Maduro wrapper is, it's just sweeter.
But I think people would, shop with their eyes and they see the dark brown
But
wrappers on
that's
some
what
of
I
these
mean.
cigars.
It's a
Yeah.
misconception.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Stronger flavored, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's the blend that's stronger in the Maduro line, but the Maduro wrapper tends to be sweeter. So
Yeah.
try both.
And, and even
does.
going back to then the other side, so a lot of guys are talking about just the flavor, and then Pooh was talking about the nicotine that you get from these sticks. And it's funny because even the different Vitolas, you get a very different amount of nicotine, right? And I say that because I'm with Puba in that the Torpedo in the 1964, whether it's Maduro or natural, I think definitely has more nicotine than you get from an Exclusivo. And I say that because the Exclusivo, I give to friends who don't smoke very often and are very intimidated, especially seeing that dark cigar. They assume that the Maduro is going to be so strong, and they're able to smoke multiple of them in a sitting, and they feel great. There's not a very high nicotine content in Exclusivos, and I've always liked that cigar for that reason, because as someone who I like to have a lot of cigars, and guys would joke at our former lounge of, do you only smoke Exclusivos? I could have 4 Exclusivos in a row and feel wonderful. It's like
See, that's a great,
like the perfect balance.
That's a great moment that you've had with a novice smoker because you're educating them, right? And they're elevating their game. It's a fantastic opportunity to do that with someone.
And I think if you fall in love with this to me, I think Puba made the point the other night. We were at our clubhouse, and he was talking about, stepping up from other brands of cigars into a more premium
Or
brand.
just-
If that's what you're looking to do,
Get luxury in your game.
you have one of these, you're not going to want to go back. And these, Cigar Aficionado lists them at around $17, $18 a stick. I don't know, Pagoda, what did you pay for these today?
I think around 21.
Yeah. So I paid for the surplus because you could only get 4. For the rest of them, I paid $23 or $24.
Sneak into your father-in-law's humidor and get rid of all those actions.
Yeah. The
Put
only,
a couple of these in there.
Macanudos. He likes Macanudo.
Oh no.
as I'm smoking this, the only thing that for me that I could knock it on is like the finish. It's like in between draws. I hate to say this. It doesn't quite do it for me like an 80th or an Exclusivo in Maduro. The finish just is not. The combustion's great. It tastes really good. I'm not saying it doesn't. It just the finish. The finish for me is a little bit. It's slightly spicy and doesn't have that. It doesn't have the sweetness that I enjoy from Maduro wrapper as much on the finish. In between draws, it's just not. But
I'm surprised hearing that because honestly, I get sweetness on the finish, and I'm not getting any harshness for me.
no harshness.
Okay, so no
harshness.
So it's just, is it just how it's sitting in your mouth after you draw?
Or you mentioned spice. I'm not even getting that so much. For me, if there's an issue, I think that the Maduro in this is more complex in flavor. That's if there was one thing I wish it had that it doesn't. Where to me, I'm just getting salted cashew and some milk chocolate, and that's it. But
That's
for
it.
the Exclusivo, I feel like, or the Torpedo in Maduro, you're getting that earthiness. You're getting dark chocolate. You're getting coffee. There's so many different flavors that are coming out of that. A little spice.
Yeah.
For this, it's very two-note to me.
But for most of us, we pursue the Maduro in this particular brand, right?
Sure.
But it's again, I'm going to go back to the novice guy that you've educated many guys, Senator. It gives them an opportunity to really get into this higher brand, a luxury cigar, and it's for me, it's actually a bit creamy.
It is.
Yeah, I get
is.
it at the finish for me. That's
I agree
me.
with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the occasion that we've talked about that we would light this up, in the afternoon after lunch, you're not looking for maybe, an incredibly flavorful, complex cigar. You're looking for something that's going to be satisfying, that's not going to be super aggressive. And this does slot right in.
You know where I would slot this
It
in?
does. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Puba.
It does. I guess when I'm holding it up as the cigar of the year, so I'm holding it to this different kind of standard because of the rating it got.
By the way, it was rated a 97 points. By Cigar
that's pretty high, right?
Very high.
So
That's as high as the Shark.
90. I think Shark was 98.
I thought it was 97.
Was it? Maybe you're right. Maybe EP Carrillo Pledge was 98. I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're
'Cause that was the
correct. You're
highest ever
correct.
rated, the EP Carrillo.
You're correct.
The
Yeah.
Shark was 7.
yeah. I mean, it's not that high. It's not quite that high from.
You know where I would slot this in, Senator? Is after sitting at the clubhouse, working on the computer with an espresso, after having one of those incredible salads that we had this week.
Yeah,
from that
agree.
new spot.
Again,
I agree.
Midday.
Life changing.
Yeah.
The salad.
I mean, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to.
You got to tell the people.
We're gonna have to bring it up. So, look, I think a lot of us at some point or another like to have a salad. I eat plenty of salad. It's not easy to find a place that makes a good salad. And when I used to live in DC, there's this great place, Sweet Green. If Grinder were here, he would be wearing his Georgetown shirt and very proud because apparently Georgetown alums created this company. And it was just a really, really, really good salad at like a super reasonable price. It was like $10-12 a salad. And they finally came out. They now have a location out here. But the problem is it's not super convenient. Just when I'm in a pinch and I want to quickly go pick something up. So I've been praying that they're going to deliver. And finally I get an email from them that we're delivering. And by the way, I bought so much salad at this place. They went public. They IPO'd like, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 12 months ago. And I met the threshold to like buy in early. But the reason I did not.
But you got to buy in on stock because of your salad consumption?
So they set a minimum like purchase level that like you qualify to buy in early. I'm not kidding. Like I have friends in DC who got the same thing I did because we've bought a lot of salads at this place. But the problem was, so I was so excited. I said, "Oh, I'm definitely going to invest in this." They're not profitable still. I cannot believe this.
Wow.
I cannot believe this. They are not profitable. They've been around for has to be 10 years now. So I did not buy any stock. But just getting to the salad. So now they deliver. And it's just so easy. You go through the app, you order the salad. I told the other lizards, some of the guys ordered salads. Gizmo was having lunch with me. We both had ours. We were very satisfied. I think Pooba tried.
Oh, I tried it.
You've
I
had two
ordered
now.
it yesterday, and I ordered it today.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Great place.
It's a good salad.
Mrs. Bam Bam is excited. Yeah, she's excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to when you go from working in New York City to like being remote and all that. In New York, it's like 11:30 hits. It's like what am I gonna? Well, I'm gonna go to Hale and Hardy, or I'm gonna go to one of these. Hale and Hardy was big.
Oh, always
big.
Always.
Go down there and you get dragged for $20 for the salad and the soup, but it's great.
It's excellent.
It's really good. So this is like similar to that, but it's like stepped up.
And it's home delivered.
And they're delivering it to your house,
That's
which is really
very cool.
And when you say a step up, the other thing that's very cool. So
It's
really
a work
is-
salad. It's a work salad. It's one of those salads you get really when you're working. Like it's a loaded up work salad that you can eat at your desk.
I mean, I'd go even further and say it's an anytime salad. But the thing, when you said it's a step up in that when you go into any local Sweetgreen, whether it's in DC, whether it's near us, in the city, anywhere, they try to, and I think this is honestly part of the problem why they're not super profitable. They try to source all of the ingredients locally. So it's very cool. When I would go into Sweetgreen in DC, they have a whole board. They would handwrite in chalk that the tomatoes were from New Jersey, the cucumbers were from Pennsylvania, this was from there. And I just think like it's it's fast casual food, right? This is not some nice sit down place that you go in, but I think it's done well. It's a step better.
Certainly, the salad is. Listen,
It's an exceptional salad.
The whole quinoa thing and the quinoa fucking in there
It's amazing.
with the pesto thing.
Oh, the chicken pesto parm is
fucking
awesome.
Pesto salad was
So good.
It's so good.
It-
The
I ordered
fresh
it, by the
shaved
way.
Parmesan. It's just
I ordered it.
fantastic.
It said it was going to be delivered in an hour. So my genius, I was like, all right, I'm still at home. I'm going to the clubhouse. We're going to order it. I'll be there just in time. 15 minutes later, DoorDash is blowing my phone up like, where the
We're
hell
here.
are you? Yeah, the salad was done and delivered in 15 minutes.
That's
it's
cool.
pretty cool.
So
That's
pretty
very
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
cool.
let's cleanse our palates here.
With this incredible.
We always
Incredible scotch.
We're 2 for 2 on Padrón with Balvenie.
it's
The
true.
Balvenie 12-year Doublewood. Fantastic aged scotch that we drink a lot.
I'll just say it's fantastic.
It's excellent.
I mean, there's
This
so
is one
much
of my
going
favorite
on with
scotches.
the Scotch.
I have a very deep personal attachment to this scotch because this was the first single malt that I actually really fell in love with. I've been drinking Balvenie Doublewood since I was in college. I remember I had bought a number of different single malts. I tried a little of each. I was trying to, figure out my palate. And this was the first thing that jumped out where I always associated scotch with peat and smoke. And when I had this, I mean, Balvenie is on the complete other end of that spectrum. They're known for being sweeter. And I just thought it was really well balanced. And I just love that all these years later, I still love it just as much as I did then.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Really delicious.
I was doing Goldschlagers in college.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I was drinking Dewar's. I was
That is so
drinking,
disgusting.
I was drinking Dewar's and water, listening to Nirvana, and pounding Jaeger.
Jaeger.
For the record,
Ice cold Jaeger.
Rumplemans.
Ice cold.
Rumplemans.
Oh, fuck Rumplements. Oh,
For the record, this was my senior year once I had a signing bonus from a firm that I was drinking single malt.
So, what do we know about Balvenie? I know we talked a little bit about it with the Caribbean Cask 14 we did on episode 3. This is a 12-year Doublewood, right? So it's in 2 different casks finished.
Yeah. So half ex-bourbon barrel, half ex-sherry, which a lot of scotches are doing now. A lot of distillers do this. But the funny thing is, I only really remember Balvenie being at the forefront of doing this. I never used to see single malt scotches that were half and half. It was either all sherry, all bourbon. No one really did sort of split it like they do. And now I feel like it's taken off. And just in reading some of the brand history, Balvenie is truly a pioneer in just distilling single malts. It's remarkable. And I love that we do this because I think we all have affinities to certain brands, Padrón, Balvenie, Macallan, but I love that we start to look a little more into the history of some of these brands, because from what I found, I feel even stronger now about the brand than I did before. So I'll just read you a little bit of what I found. I think it's interesting. I think, as most of us know, Balvenie's in the Speyside region in Scotland, and Grinder, if he were here, could, I'm sure, give us a really, really amazing history on Speyside. But it was established by William Grant in 1892. And Balvenie is still run by the original Grant family, which is very cool, because if you look at any of these stories, and it's even true of most Cuban cigars, there were changes of ownership, right? There are few brands, whether we're talking cigars or single malt scotches, that one family has seen it all the way through. In cigars, Padrón and Fuente are obviously the two, big ones we think of. And in Scotch, Balvenie is really at the top of that. And so they really pride themselves on being the most handcrafted single malt Scotch. And I didn't know what that means, but when you learn some of what they do, it's incredible. There's no other distillery in Scotland that still grows its own barley. They buy elsewhere. They grow this on their property, that malts the barley on a traditional malting floor, which Grinder would be able to speak to why this is amazing. They have a coppersmith on hand who tends the stills. Same guy since 1959.
Wow.
How old is he? 100?
It's incredible.
He's been working there for.
Started working there when he was 15.
10.
Yeah,
I
10
mean,
years old.
that's how it is in Scotland.
He's in his 50s.
He's got a copperage on site where there's a copperage on site where 10 coopers tend and repair the oak cask required in making all of their single malts. They do everything on their premises.
That's very cool.
Most distillers, right? They outsource all of this.
They're buying barrels.
Barrels elsewhere. They're even the malt, the grain, everything's coming from somewhere else. So I thought that was pretty cool. And their malt master is a very famous guy, David Stewart. He started at Balvenie in 1962 and still to this day,
that's very cool.
Creates all the liquid that's in every bottle.
That's almost like a Padrón type story. It's like guys have just been there forever. That's
exactly.
Awesome.
And what's amazing about this guy, and so I'm not crazy, I really vividly remember Balvenie Doublewood being the only single malt that I used to see that was split, a sort of blend of sherry cask and maturing in bourbon cask. And it says that this guy, David Stewart, is sort of the pioneer in double cask maturation or finishing, which he started in the 1980s when he created the Balvenie Doublewood that we're drinking right now.
Yeah, it's an impressive spirit.
Yeah.
So balanced.
It's complex.
You know what I find when I order this out is you have to be very, very specific with whoever you're ordering with that you're getting the Doublewood 12.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the difference most times. So when you are ordering, make sure almost that you see the bottle that it has the word Doublewood written on it, because these tenders and servers that you're ordering from, oftentimes I feel like I'm not getting what I want until I actually see the bottle.
And it's hard to find.
It is.
Look, scotches like this you're going to find in cigar bars. You're going to find in some higher end places that have a large selection of scotch, which you're going to find Macallan almost everywhere.
Yeah.
Not right now. So we should talk about this. I'm very concerned. I'm serious.
Is there a
Capital
shortage?
Grill has it.
Serious. No.
Let's go.
I don't mean at restaurants. That's amazing.
Capital Grill has it. I fucking drank half a bottle of it there. They got plenty.
I mean in liquor stores. I say this because today I just finally was restocking on a lot of scotch, and for a while now, for the last year, Macallan you've been able to find. We've had to pursue the sherry cask, but we have always found a place to source it. And Balvenie, all of a sudden, the Doublewood, I mean, Pagoda and I, we've talked about this. We couldn't find it anywhere for like the last 6 months of last year. No exaggeration. All the major, places, we're talking Total Wine, Bottle King,
right.
They were completely sold out. You could get Macallan there, not Balvenie. And I found a small little wine shop in a town right next to us that had the Doublewood that we were having to buy from for a while. Now it's completely flipped. Balvenie Doublewood is everywhere right now, which is fantastic, but Macallan is nowhere. And I say I'm concerned because the only place I could find it is Super Sellers here, and you know I hate that place.
Right.
And guess how much they're charging for a fucking bottle?
Well, then
$70 bucks.
$75.
$85.
Oh
Yeah.
God, come on.
So why I
That's
say I'm worried
insane.
because they're always overpriced. So if they're charging 85, it's always less.
75 somewhere
But
else.
that signals to me that it's very possible now. Macallan went up from 55 to 65 bucks last year.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried that it's gone up another 10 bucks to 75 or $80.
How much?
Which is
How
not
much is
great.
the Balvenie that we're drinking right now?
60.
Okay,
Oh, what a
Doublewood is
deal!
$60.
What a deal! Oh, it's
not a great
fantastic.
Scotch.
Absolutely.
Great Scotch. So halfway through the torpedo, guys.
It's
A little over halfway,
it's
maybe.
a stellar cigar.
It's fantastic.
It's better for me now than it was.
It's. I
10
was just gonna
minutes
say
ago.
it's getting better as it goes.
It's a lot better than it was 10 minutes ago.
I think the Balvenie helps.
That's the sound hypothesis.
So we were just talking about drinks and things that we like. We actually got, by the way, I have to show you guys this. We had a listener, Grizzly Adams, tag us on Instagram. He wants to know, how do we like the cut of his Upman 1844 Nicaragua, little V cut? What's
I
the
love
lizard?
the V cut.
You guys are into the, I think you did a nice job on the cut there. What do you think?
I love the V cut.
Beautiful cut.
Very good cut. So I'm gonna
Nice
put
and,
this up on the
Nice and crisp.
I'm going to put this up on the Instagram, but also the reason why I bring this up, and thanks to Grizzly Adams and other listeners who reach out, we love to hear from listeners. At the end of the podcast, by the way, there's a little tag with all the information on how to get in touch with us. But he had a very good question for us. And he said, love the pod. You guys are awesome to listen to. Really appreciate what you guys do. What do the lizards drink with cigar besides alcohol? It's obviously a great combination, but curious as to what your other go-to beverages are
Wow.
that we enjoy
should-
with a cigar.
We should probably start with Rooster on this one.
Yeah, Rooster, go ahead.
So I love a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Espresso.
Well, sometimes I do like coffee or a latte or a cappuccino and do a shot of espresso in it,
Okay.
right? So in the afternoon, in the morning, great, pairs really well with cigars. Even after dinner, after lunch, anytime. I think it's a great pairing. I think you can drink a lot of different, I don't drink a lot, so, I do a lot of non-alcoholic beers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of choices out there. You can really drink anything you want.
Grinder loves a beer with a cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh,
guys
yeah.
do.
Red wine.
Yeah, we've done some wine.
Yeah. Cabernets
Yeah,
are
we've done
fantastic.
one wine. We need to do more
We
wine.
do need.
We do.
We do.
We do.
Yeah, there's a lot we need to do. I obviously the guys bust my balls, but I love seltzer.
Seltzer. Yeah.
I love seltzer water with a little splash of lemon in it. I drink way too much of it.
Champagne.
Champagne, Paul Roger.
I had Coke over the vacation. We ran out of alcohol in the room and I had
Mexican Coke.
Coke. No, it was in a bottle, but it was sweet and it was so good.
So I
really
have to
enjoyed it.
say I was a little quiet because I'm a little embarrassed to say this because I'm usually very snobby about stuff when it comes to spirits and things you would appreciate with a fine cigar.
No.
Can we guess? Can we
But-
please
No,
guess?
really? Are you?
But
No.
That can't be, guys. Because he's being way too hard on
listen to
himself.
this.
I know what he had.
He's not. He's not hard. He's
Not at all.
snobby about what he
No
drinks
more,
at
no
all.
more Paul Roger for Puma.
No. I know what he had. I got to guess what he had.
No. It's not what I had. You'll see me drink this occasionally. A Diet
Diet
Coke,
Coke.
Oh.
with a
Okay.
Maduro wrapper, like with a Padrón Exclusivo. I love how it pairs.
Yeah.
It like pains me to even say
It's
this.
not-
Why would it pain you to
No,
say it? It's a Diet
because
Coke. This
it's
is
not
America,
crazy.
for Christ's sake.
No, the Diet Coke is fine. It's just, with cigars I love so much, you feel like you want to pair it with something special. And a Diet Coke is such an everyday thing. You don't think of that as something special. You specially select to go with that cigar.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it really works
Hey,
well.
dude, try a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You want to talk about
It's like he's talking about white bread, sliced white bread.
Sliced white bread.
you want to talk about awesome? I mean, sure, Diet Dr. Pepper, take it one step further.
Medicinal.
Or a cream soda.
I was going to go there. Root beer.
I was going to say,
Rita-
I see a lot of guys drinking root beer.
Wow, that's the sweetness of that root
so
beer.
I got it.
Some are very good, Senator. I know where you're going.
I
Some
enjoy
are
his beer
very,
as
very
well.
good.
I like a root beer.
I do
I
too.
enjoy
No,
regular
it's
beer.
not. It's
I
nothing
do
against.
too.
It's nothing against any of these things. The reason I'm shaking my head is just I worry with a lot of these flavored drinks that like masks and dominates the flavor of the cigar. Like you're once you're tasting a ton of cherry or whatever is
It
in
depends.
there,
Depends on the
You're not
beverage.
able to taste the
Yeah,
cigar. Where
but
I like with Diet Coke, like it's just very even keel. There's not like anything super dominant that is detracting too much from the cigar.
Okay.
That's my only point.
The aspartame's pretty dominant. I mean,
Not
hold
when
on.
not with the Padrón.
It depends. I mean, are you pounding in the Diet Coke or are you just
No,
sipping it?
sipping it.
No, you're sipping
I
it,
used to
right?
drink, I swear to God, in college. I didn't drink any alcohol till I was out of college, which is weird. It is what it is. However-
This explains the sink.
Hold on.
However,
Who was
however,
about to walk out of the room?
I told you guys that before. However, I used to drink a Diet Coke.
I'm sorry.
I used to drink a case of Diet Coke a day, 12 cans a day.
Wow.
Case.
12 cans a day.
I swear.
Jesus.
I swear on it.
Oof.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was a
gotta
problem.
talk to somebody.
I love Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke with lime too. Actually,
I mean,
Christ.
I do
I don't
seltzer
even.
now.
There's so much to unpack with the statement that you just made.
Yeah, that's for another
I
episode.
mean, I don't even know what
We
to
should do a special episode on it.
Hey, you need to see a
Lord.
Coke
You
therapist.
didn't have a drink in college? What did you
I didn't drink
do?
in college. Yeah, no, I don't know, man.
What did you do?
I was so consumed with what I did, like my extracurricular activities.
How many other podcasts were you editing in college?
Yeah.
It's funny. I worked at a radio station in college, and it consumed my life. I was there all the time. It's all I did. It defined my 4 years in
I know.
college.
I know that
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
I
And,
love
yeah.
that station.
Yeah, great college radio station.
Oh.
It was my life, and I
Metal.
just was never interested. I was so consumed by it.
What a sober life I feel like.
Yeah, well, it's like I think, and what I like about Grizzly posing that question to us is there are a lot of folks out there who enjoy a cigar, who are sober, who don't drink, who've either choose not to or can't, and
Sure.
and have moved away from alcohol in their lives. And I think this is very productive. I think coffee is a great choice. I think seltzer. A lot of guys drink seltzer. I think some of the sodas that we've named. I mean, what else are we not?
I mean,
thinking of?
I'm going to go back to the espresso. Like for me,
Espresso's
a
great.
double espresso with this and a little bit of a lemon twist,
Yeah.
particularly with a Padrón, for me, really does it.
Yeah, I think the only thing we haven't mentioned, and this is more for a morning cigar or an afternoon cigar, a Bloody Mary. And I say that because not
Well,
just
by the way, I posed the question: what non-alcoholic stuff
no,
can we
no,
drink?
no.
And
That's
the
where I'm
senator
going.
every time is like Bloody Mary,
No. Listen,
Virgin, champagne.
listen to where I'm going with
I
this.
know where you're going.
I
know
say
where you're going.
this because Rooster will have a non-alcoholic Bloody Mary.
Yep.
And enjoy
I do.
that with
I
his
love that.
cigar as much as I'm enjoying my,
Well.
alcoholic Bloody Mary. So
Yeah.
I think that's another good pairing for an early in the day smoke, regardless of alcohol. You don't even have to throw vodka in there for it to be a good pairing.
So when we
That's
do that episode in the coming weeks and months, hopefully we'll schedule that soon, a Sunday Bloody episode
Yes.
starring Puba and his Dimitri's recipe.
Yes.
Don't shy away from it, listeners, because you could just not add the vodka and have a great drink.
That's for
I'm sure if Grinder were here, he would agree that beer would go well with
Oh,
cigars
sure.
as well.
Yeah, he loves
Like
beer.
we used to drink a lot of Boddingtons. Very, very good pairing, at least.
I've seen
from my
Puba.
palate.
I've seen Puba when we've been out. He'll order a Yangling, or not a Yangling. Excuse me, the Guinness.
Guinness. Guinness
we
is a
all
great
have.
pairing.
It's
Yes,
a
it
great
is.
pairing. Well, we've all
Definitely.
consumed copious amounts of Guinness. I think.
Yes,
all
we
of
have.
us.
We
We
have.
have.
And
At-
Guinness now, by the way,
Under the
has
same
a
location.
nitrous infused can
Yes,
of
they do.
non-alcoholic
Yep.
of beer,
Yep.
which I think is very cool.
Guinness.
Really?
Yeah.
Guinness has a
Yeah,
non-alcoholic beer?
Guinness has a non-alcoholic. It's a pretty popular thing. A lot Heineken, obviously, Guinness, all the bigger brands do.
And
but Guinness has one.
I'll
now.
say something about Guinness. Someone who's really, I've had quite a bit of experience with the with the brand.
Don't be too hard on yourself,
He resents the implication.
I don't resent. I embrace the implication. But Guinness. So let's say you're not a big drinker, but you're. There is a misconception, almost like with the Maduro wrapper, that you see this big black cup of beer that comes out to you that's served. Guinness is actually, it's not high in alcohol content, and it's not high in carbonation.
And low in calories.
Yeah.
And low in calories, and it's a misconception that this is some big. It's Guinness Draft. Now, just for the listener, if you're going to take a recommendation and try Guinness, just make sure that you get Guinness Draft.
And it has to be ice cold. Ice cold.
No,
for-
no.
For me.
No, that's not how they do it in Ireland.
That's not
Is
the
that
way
right?
you drink it.
Room-
No.
room temperature.
Really?
No, it's not room temperature. No.
I stand
You're
corrected.
wrong on that too. Let the Irish.
Oh,
go
on that too?
You're wrong on that. It's not room temperature. No, but it's not served. It's not served as cold as what you would want.
Okay.
It's served at a higher temperature than regular beer. It's just I don't know exactly what that temperature is, but it's not ice cold.
Okay.
Definitely not ice cold.
But colder than a normal beer.
But no, warmer than a normal
Oh,
beer.
warmer.
Not
Okay.
as cold as you'd want like a
I
Budweiser
see.
or something like that. Ice cold, you don't want it. But the larger point is that Guinness is not a heavy beer. Guinness is actually, it's a full-bodied beer, but it's low in alcohol content, low in carbonation, and pairs quite nicely with a cigar, as we all have drank dozens and dozens of pints of Guinness at one of the lounges that we
Yes, we
belong
have.
to.
Yeah.
And it's really nice with the cigar. And what we generally do, being in that kind of environment, is we'll pair. I know we're getting into alcohol, but an Irish whiskey as a sidecar with the Guinness is very nice. But that notwithstanding, if you don't want to go that far, you can have a pint of Guinness that'll last you for a long time if you take your time with it. And it's very, very nice.
It's
so
delicious.
I would,
It's
but
delicious.
if you're in the liquor store, do not buy the bottles of Guinness Stout. That's a different beer than Guinness Draft. So the Guinness Stout you'll see it says extra stout on there, and that's more towards a what you call, it's a very stout beer, and it's more bitter. Where
It drinks like a porter.
Yeah.
it really does. Yeah, it drinks more closer to a porter. It's an extra stout. So just buy the cans that have the little carbonation thing. They go, and you just in there. That's really a nice thing.
And the ideal temperature for Guinness, I just looked it up. It's 42.8 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Right around 50.
Rooster, speaking of non-alcoholic beer, what are your top 2 or 3 that you really enjoy?
So one of my favorite brands is Klaus Thaler. It's like a lager. And the other hoppier type beers that I like is by Brooklyn Lager.
Okay.
They make an extra hoppy Brooklyn Lager, delicious. Erdinger. I'm not a huge fan of Heineken, but I love Beck's.
Okay.
Beck's makes one of the best non-alcoholic beers. But I can't wait to try the Guinness.
Yeah.
Because I love a heavy, like a stout. It is a stout. So
And on Guinness, why does it pair so well? Because the notes you get out of
Wow.
that, it's like
Right.
coffee
Chocolatey.
and chocolate.
Yeah.
It's perfect
It's
with a
fantastic.
cigar.
And the body of it. right?
Yeah.
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 It's got body.
Yeah.
Talking
good.
about temperature, in the UK, you can actually go to a bar and get extra cold Guinness, which is a very special tap, and they'll serve it to you extra cold,
Oh, they will if you like that.
if you like that. Yeah.
All right, boys. Do you want to rate the Balvenie Doublewood? I feel
Oh.
like I know what this is going to be.
Oh, you
but
know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's rate the
absolutely.
Balvenie Doublewood 12. Bam,
I-
bam, you're up.
I'm at a 9 with this guy.
It's a 10 for me.
Very nice.
Well
Padrón.
done.
Very nice.
All right.
I am, I wish Grinder was here because I'm really curious what he would rate this. I'm curious where this stacks for him.
Good
why
question.
is Grinder not here today?
Oh, that's a good question.
talk
Great
about that.
question. He had a very exciting, positive, wonderful life event happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So you can,
Baby lizard.
Baby
Yeah.
Lizard is here. We're very happy for him.
Beautiful baby girl.
Yeah. And he's very happy and everybody's
God bless
good.
him and
And
the baby.
we can't wait to have him back. So congratulations,
Yes,
Grinder.
sir. Yes,
He's
sir.
already teaching her the difference between a Maduro and a natural wrapper.
He will use this as a.
No,
It'll put her right to sleep.
And her bedtime stories are all about the history of Scotland.
Yeah.
Perfect. He's like
Different heights of stealth.
once upon a time in Speyside, there was a master blender named
Dave Stewart. He's been working there since 1959.
All right, Balvenie rating.
So Bam Bam was a 9,
9.
Pagoda a 10, Senator.
I'm at a 9, a 9, a 9.
I'm right there with you, a 9 all day.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm at a 9. I'm at a 9.
Rooster?
Yeah, same 9.
All right, very nice. A
proud. This
little
is
bit above a 9.
Outstanding recommend.
9.2.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Strong recommend on the Balvenie 12 Doublewood.
I could have gone higher in decimals.
Yes, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Balvenie 12 is like an exclusive for me.
Yeah.
Like it's my go-to.
familiar friend.
Mall, familiar friend.
Caribbean
Always,
cask. Yeah.
always have it at home, and love it.
It's really good.
Yeah, they make great stuff.
Really super.
So we're coming into the last third here, boys. What are you guys thinking about the Padrón Torpedo in natural?
So one thing I'm noticing with this, I think I described it on the cold draw and in the first third as getting a lot of milk chocolate. I feel like now toward the last third, it's more of a semi-sweet chocolate.
Yeah. That's accurate.
I agree.
I'm still getting that sweetness, which I love. It's fantastic.
A little bit of spice too.
A bit, yeah.
Little bit.
You're right. Great balance, which
It's
makes
definitely more complex.
it.
as
Makes.
it's
I was
gone
about
on.
to say that it makes it a complex cigar when you have those two worlds coming together.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
There's a
it's-
lot going on here.
It's picked up in that, Pagoda said it was really mild to start, and I think that's fair. It was mild to start. I think now it's firmly medium.
Yeah.
Second half of this stick has picked up in strength.
Yes.
And all the flavors from and the start of the cigar have kind of concentrated notes of the same.
Yeah. Fantastic.
For
Do you
sure,
guys
and
think?
there's-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, there's nicotine in. So like you start to get. I've said this before. Like when you have a stick that, and some of the Cuban smokes that we have aren't really that high in nicotine.
Nope.
The Padrón is, I think, delivers a little bit more of the Nicaraguan tobacco.
Yeah.
You start to feel that like.
Well, you've said it before. It
that
makes you
kick.
feel good.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
getting that, like I feel really good.
Yeah.
Like it makes you feel and you can feel that kind of pep. You're getting that little bit of kick, and that's really nice.
Yes, it is.
Really nice. You start to feel really nice, like just after the middle.
Yep.
And you start to get into the last third, you're like, ooh, I'm feeling pretty good.
Honestly, it's velvety still for me. It's very
It is for
velvety.
me, too.
The
I'm
smoke
still-
is velvety. Yeah.
I'm still getting that salty thing too that we were talking about earlier. I guess the question I have, based on what you guys just said, Puba and Bam Bam as well, I'm curious at this point. Do you guys think that this is not good for someone who likes our more mild or medium cigar at this point in the cigar?
Yeah. Good question.
Has it gotten to the point where someone who you've turned on to this because of their flavor preferences, Bam Bam, the people you were talking about, my father-in-law, I'm smoking it now. I don't know if at this point he'd be kind of like,
Good
"Ugh."
question. You may put it down.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I think just what I've observed now, smoking this and other Padrones in this line, I do worry that the second half of this, for someone who truly likes a mild cigar, that this is maybe now a bit more than they would want. And what I think is probably where they'd be better served in the 1964 line is something in a smaller ring gauge, because that Corona that you gave me, Giz,
Very smooth.
all the way through, that was mild medium, maybe at best at any point. It never got as much flavor as this is now delivering in the last third. So I'm not convinced that this is ideal for someone who truly just likes a very mild cigar. But for anyone who firmly loves a medium stick, anyone who's a Cuban cigar smoker, I mean, this is right in their wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder, what the other Vitola that scored really well, I think it was last year when the EP Carrillo won. I think it was top 5, the Hermoso in Maduro, which is the short, fat one the Padrón makes. I'm curious what that is like in a natural. I may try it just to see if it may be a good fit for my father-in-law, but
I'd want to try that natural because I had the Maduro, and you know how much we all
Yeah.
love Padrón.
Yeah.
I didn't love that.
Yeah. It's harsh.
Bingo.
Yeah. It's harsh.
yeah, and it's a
Sorry.
bigger ring gauge too. What is it, a 50 maybe?
Yeah, it's
52?
a fat cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fat.
Yeah, and they deliver like different levels of power.
Yep.
There's certain Padrones, we've discussed it before, like the 1926. There's certain 26 in the smokes in the 26 line. What is it, the number 3?
Number 2 is the
Two.
Bella, like the I guess it's a Bellicoso.
Yeah. And boy, is that a strong cigar. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
I honestly
can't
find
smoke it. I mean, it's so strong.
I find that for me, my palate, and we've gone over it many times. I think in Padrón, I think the Family Reserve is more accessible to me than even the 26 line, except for the 80th anniversary and the strongest cigar they make, but I still think is very smooth, the 90th Maduro in the Tubo, the red Tubo. I think safe for those two. I think that line is less approachable to me than even the family reserves.
Which one is less approachable?
The 26 line, safe for those two that I named.
Yeah,
I think family reserve is more approachable.
Well, the family
Well,
reserve.
I would just say safe for the 90th. The 80th, I think, is very accessible.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm saying the 90th and the 80th for me, I'll go to those all day long. I don't go to any other
above
20
the 26
okay,
line.
I
except,
understand what
the other one I'm
the
excluding
50th?
is the number 35.
Yeah, that's a good question. Wait, Puba.
50th is
There's two 50ths.
Hold on. Yeah, that's a great
50th,
question.
There's a 50 year, which is it's not a line. It's its own
Right.
celebration. And then there's a 50th or 50 year, I think, or 50th inside the family reserve line. There's no 50th in the 26.
Okay.
I
It's
think
all
he's
on
right.
its own.
Yeah, that's family
right.
reserve.
Well, clearly the family reserve
Have some of
is
those.
more refined.
Yeah.
It's absolutely full flavor, but it's refined.
And those sticks, I feel every one of those family reserve sticks I've had in Maduro, there's such a sweetness about them, even though they're strong.
They are strong.
full cigars.
Oh, yeah.
They're smooth and sweet. I've never had the experience that Puba just mentioned in the 26.
So
line.
I have some 50ths that were gifted to me, 4 or 5 of them. I haven't smoked them yet. They're 50th
Maduro.
Maduro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are what, $45-$50 cigars.
the best cigar Padrón makes.
Yeah, it's a great cigar.
Is
Thank
which
me.
which one? Which?
The
Sorry.
50-year
50
anniversary.
year.
It comes.
Yeah, 50 year.
50 years.
It's the big
Oh, it's
white
fantastic.
humidor.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
you-
God they're Maduro. So I've had both the natural and Maduro. And I think this is also what has really colored my perception of Padrón's natural cigars. That 50-year, the Maduro is absolutely outstanding. The natural, I really did not enjoy. I smoked both back to back. I started with the natural, then I had the Maduro. It was on my birthday, actually, at our former lounge. And the natural it's not even close to how good the Maduro is.
Yeah. I haven't had one yet. I've got like 5 of them.
They're great, dude.
It's
You don't need to wait.
fantastic.
You don't need to
It's
wait.
Great steak.
You don't need to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
very good cigars.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is I haven't. I mean, none of us have, but you can only buy that cigar in a 50 count. It's like $2,500 or $3,000. It's
a
crazy humidor.
Gorgeous box.
And what's crazy
More
is
like 5,000.
is it
Yeah.
5? Oh, it's ridiculous. Oh, the refills I guess are less, but you're right. It's crazy money. But what's wild about it is you can't just order Maduro or just order natural. If you buy that, you have to get 25 of each. So
That's
You
the
know.
thing that pains
Oh,
me. That's the
wow.
reason I've never bought a box of those.
yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't know that.
It's crazy. I smoke those very infrequently, but they're very, very good.
They are excellent.
Very good.
Yeah, I've yet to have one.
I'll come
Yeah,
over and take one.
They're very well worth it.
So just to put it out there, I know somewhat off topic, but with these torpedoes, would you do a V cut or would you do a straight cut?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
By the
wanted
way,
to
thank
talk
you to
about
Grizzly
this.
Adams
On a
for bringing this
Padron,
up.
you don't need to
Yes,
do that.
Please-
but
please don't
his
do a V
question
cut.
here. No, this is really important. Look, I'm not a big V cut guy, but I respect it. I understand its utility. I have used it sometimes, but this is an important point. In this room, how many would use a V cut on a torpedo? I'm
0.
curious.
Never.
Is there anyone?
Never.
I would
Because
not.
I've seen guys do it, so I'm
I
just
would
curious
not.
if there's
And
anyone.
I
So-
typically never
On a
use
on a
V-cut.
torpedo?
Okay. Everybody calm down.
Booba telling us to calm down. I love this.
Everybody take a deep breath. So there's a school of thought that you can use a V cut on a torpedo, and that you take enough volume out of the end of the cap that you can get a good draw, but yet you can have that kind of pointed delivery to the palate that it delivers. There's like a specific reason why they're rolled that way. It's because of the way it lands. When you just cut so much off of a torpedo, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of the shape.
He's absolutely right.
So the school of thought is if you use a V cut on a torpedo, that can take enough volume out of the cap but you're still getting this delivery. Now, do I do that on torpedoes on a consistent basis? No, I don't. I try to take as little off as I can where I can get a good draw, and then if I need to take a little bit more off, I do it.
Yeah.
Where I find the V cut, which I'm a fan of, and Colibri makes really the best money for value V-cut
Bingo.
that's out there.
Great V-cut.
It's really a great V-cut.
And it's heavy. It's
Oh,
really,
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a
nice.
really good accessory. Where I find that actually very useful is with, believe it or not, with Petite Coronas.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you why. So with a Petite Corona, Cuban Petite Corona, like sometimes you can get a Monte Cristo 4 or something, right? That's like where it's been rolled, and that triple cap, sometimes at the end, if you straight cut it and you just take the cap off in the normal fashion, sometimes the draw is too tight. It's just because of the ring gauge of the cigar. But if you throw a V cut on there, it takes enough volume out of the cap where there's a lot of tobacco bunched up. You can it can really help improve the draw sometimes on a smaller gauge cigar like that. I've had success with that. And even in a Robusto, where I've actually just clipped the cap off, and on a Cuban Robusto, and I'm like, maybe the draw's not good. Instead of running a perfect draw through, I've reset it with a V cut.
Oh, wow.
And you takes the volume out of the cap, and you're like, okay, now this fucking thing is perfectly open.
You know what?
It maintains the integrity of the
That
of the
repositions
structure.
the whole argument for me and makes it's really a legitimate argument. But that's after a flat cut. You want to test it first. Is that right?
Well, I think that it's just
he's not talking about a torpedo right now. He's
No,
talking
no.
about a Petite
Yeah,
Corona.
yeah.
Any cigar. So you're trying a flat cut first to see if you've got
No,
the
I
draw.
don't think that's like, it's not that binary. I
Okay.
think it's just personal preference. I'm
Okay.
just saying like a V cut can really do a really wonderful job of taking volume out of the cap where there may be tobacco bunched up in there. And instead of running a perfect draw through, sometimes a V cut's like the perfect solution. And I found with the same box of that has a bunch of tobacco rolled up, like a Monte Cristo 4 or a Bolivar Petite Corona, where I've been like, the draw's not been great on these. I'm just going to cut it with a V cut. And I've cut it with a V cut and then been like, wow, this whole thing has just opened up because there was a bunch of tobacco rolled up. It was just tight there.
Got it.
Interesting.
That's a great point.
It is a very good point.
Unless the cigar is tight in the middle.
Yeah, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's a different issue.
Then you need surgery with the perfect draw.
Then you need surgery. Anyway, I've found that I think there's utility for it. I think there's merit in it. It's a matter of, some people don't like it because they want to put their tongue to the tip of the cigar. And I generally use a straight cut, but the V cut does have utility.
Yeah,
Well,
totally.
I have a couple of these natural. What we're smoking right now, I have a couple left. I'm going to try a V cut on it, and I'll report back
Nice.
because
it's
I
fine.
think that's a great argument.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it is.
guess here's another question though. So, a Padrón that is not a torpedo, right? With
You
that
don't need
rounded
to
edge.
do.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Would
do
you
that.
ever?
No.
Would you ever
Not
use
on
a
a
V cut on
I
a
would
Padrón?
ever.
No.
And I say that because that cigar uniquely, you want to take off as little as humanly possible off
So
the
then-
end.
That's right. They're not triple capped.
Yeah, they're single
As well. They're single capped, and the way that they're rolled, the construction's so flawless that the draw is always perfect. You really don't. A V cut is really, unless you like that mouthfeel, there's no reason to use it.
So I've got a question. So then he's coming from the point of view of experience. He knows his cigars. He knows what may not draw as well as another cigar. Now, from the point of view of the listener who may not have that knowledge that he has, would you advise that person to go right for a V cut or start with a flat and then try it?
I think you start with the flat
Right.
cut, and then
Right.
if you find it's
There you
not
go.
drawing well,
Great.
you can say, you know what, maybe there's volume in the cap, and
Okay.
I'm just going
And you know what's cool,
It's a
too?
great argument. A fantastic.
You know what's cool too? If there's somebody out there looking for an accessory, Colibri actually makes a double cut. They make it's a unit that has a straight cut in it and a V cut on the other side, the same size as the one that we use. It's very, very cool, and it's not that expensive.
By the way, you know what else I've done with the V cut? You butterfly it.
Oh, you do it twice.
So you do it poof and
Yeah.
poof like that. And I've done that on cigars, and it's a thing that people do. You do it
I've
once.
seen it. Believe me, if you go on Instagram, I've seen plenty of it. I won't lie. I hate it every time I see it.
Well, you
It's a
can
little-
hate it. I
it's a
mean, I'm
little
just
snobby.
saying if you're going to draw,
Senator, I'm right there with you.
I'm just doing it to get a draw
I
on the
just
cigar.
feel like at that point you're just taking a fucking cleaver to the cigar. Like it just, I don't.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, listen, do you see me rolling around with a V cut in my pocket all the
No,
time?
thank God.
No, but is it useful?
It has
It is.
utility.
There
has
I'm with
utility.
you. There
Yeah.
I am with you.
It
It
has-
absolutely has utility.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, boys, we're coming to the end here of the Padrón Torpedo 1964 anniversary in natural. Are you guys ready to give it the formal lizard rating?
Let's do it.
Yep.
What are we going to say, Pagoda?
Oh no, I was just about to say the second half has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I found it really mild in the beginning, and I think I've been really enjoying the second half.
All right, good.
I haven't got hint of spiciness, and it's just been great.
So I guess that adds to my question of a smoker who doesn't like a strong cigar, which obviously Pagoda is not that person.
Yeah, I would not.
This
give
may
to a
not be the
mild
this
cigar
would not be the
smoker.
cigar for them. So Rooster, let's do the rating.
Yeah, so to me, I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think in the middle there was a point where I felt like for just a few minutes that it was kind of like flat for me, where I was like, I'm not sure where this is going to go, but it finished up so strong in the second half. There was just a small part where I was like, I don't know where this thing's going to go. Right now, I think I got to give it a 9. I got to give it a 9. I think it's that good. I think it's that good.
I am 100% with you. I think a 9 is a perfect score for this. I'm curious to see where it ends up, but I'm also at a 9. Here we go.
This pains me. and
Oh,
no!
no.
I feel like I have to apologize in advance
Give
I
it
got to
an 8.
leave. I'm leaving.
because this is my favorite brand. Period. And this is not a bad score, but it pains me that I'm going to be slightly lower than the other lizards. I'm going to give it an 8. I'll explain why later.
Pagoda.
Yeah, me too. I think I was hovering around a 7 because it was too mild for me in the very beginning for my palate. Obviously, not to take anything away from the cigar, but I would give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm at a 9 all day with this.
Okay.
Early on we talked about the complexity of the cigar, sweetness and the spicy and how it came together beautifully. 9 all day.
Composite lizard score 8.7.
Yeah, fantastic score.
I think that's a very fair score for this. I think a 97 that CA gave it is way too high. I think it should be over a 90 or 9 for me, but I think an 8.7 is very fair.
Like for me, it was a 90-point cigar. Like, I'd give it, if I was doing round numbers, I
Yeah.
would give it 90.
Got it.
I think that it's definitely a 9-point cigar
Yep.
for me.
I
Particularly the way that how it performed in the home stretch for me was really impressive.
very, very. I got to hear Senator's
Yeah, I gotta hear
description.
this.
Yeah. So for me, my rating comes down to my palate and my preference. There was nothing about this cigar that I'm willing to say I think universally is problematic about this cigar, because that's not the case at all. For me, having had the Maduro version of this Torpedo, the Torpedo in Maduro, I would give a 9. And this I give an 8 because I'm a little confused by this cigar in that the first half was so mild where I sat there and I said, well, I would have this in the afternoon and I couldn't have this after dinner. And then the second half I said, well, I actually could have this after dinner. So I'm just struggling with where I slot it in. And because of that, it just doesn't translate well enough for me to say, like, this is exactly the profile I'm looking for in a cigar, that I know exactly where I'm going to slot it in. Where with that Torpedo and Maduro, I know any evening, any day of the week, that's the perfect cigar. That's a 9 every day for me. And this is an 8 just because the first half is too mild for what I normally smoke. That's why I said I would have to only have it in the afternoon. And then I'd have to wait for halfway through the cigar for it to be what I would normally want to smoke. So I'm just very conflicted. That's why I'm an 8.
So what about a perfect?
It's a vortex.
He's a paradox caught in a vortex.
So, Senator, how about a perfect lunch with sweet green salad, Diet Coke, and the cigar?
There you go.
Yeah.
No, the problem
It's an
is
8.
for the
It's an
first
8,
half,
Rooster. It's
I'd
an
have
8.
to stop smoking it halfway and then have the other half after dinner. That's the problem.
Maybe a small steak from Capitol Grill.
I'm very impressed with this.
I am
I
too.
didn't know what this was going to end up with tonight. I think an 8.7 is a very fair score, and I think it's a very strong recommend from us.
Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. And the biggest takeaway for me from this is I'm absolutely going to try more Padrón and natural.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, if you had more of these, could you really see it slotting into your rotation?
Well, my
As you
problem,
learn-
like I said, the Torpedo, I have a hard time slotting in. I want to try other Vitolas in
Okay.
natural in the
Okay.
64 line. And I think some of those, like the Corona that Giz gave
Corona's
me,
good.
that slots in perfectly for the afternoon. All
what's-
the way through, that was an afternoon smoke.
What's nice about that too is it's a 45-minute smoke.
It's great.
You're in and out.
And none of us have got that cigar except for you.
Yeah.
No, he gave it out to a few. I think Rooster had it with me
Rooster-
there.
I had it.
Yeah, you were avoiding me like the plague.
No, I wasn't.
It tastes like
Pandemic
A fundy.
bam, he was out of here.
What?
It tastes like a fundy.
All right, boys. An 8.7 for the Padrón 1964
score.
Great
Anniversary Torpedo and Natural. Very good, guys. Pagoda, thanks for the cigars.
Thank you, Pagoda.
Rooster, Senator, thanks for the scotch.
Thank you,
And
guys.
awesome, guys. We'll see you next week.
Keep smoking.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.